Welcome back to the Pittsburgh Sports Saviors. It is Sunday night, May 5th, as we record this. Lee, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, bud. How about yourself?
I'm not too bad today. I'm not a very eventful week, I would say, in sports. Other than
Yeah,
we got with some NBA basketball going on right now. How are you
yeah,
feeling
yeah,
about the first round of the playoffs? And I think your champion may have lost last week.
yeah. I was hoping for a nice little run. It's been a very interesting and just wild first week, or not, or I'm saying, sorry, not first week, first round.
First round, yeah.
We should say for the
Uh-huh.
NBA playoffs. Of course, the team I chose, the Lakers, went 4-1 in the series against the Nuggets. Nuggets advance. So far you're on track for having a champion right there. Some of the teams that we've seen got upset. The Suns got swept, which I was
Yeah,
shocked
the
by the
Suns.
Timberwolves.
Yeah, embarrassing.
Yeah, and Cleveland and the Magic just finished today. They went 7, and Cleveland's on to the next round against Boston. Um, we got the Bucks losing to the Pacers. We got the Knicks, going on, against the 76ers, beating them, going on to the next round. And of course, the Mavs and the Clippers, I think, is still going on, or they might have. No, I think they won the series. I'm sorry, they won
Yeah,
that
yeah,
series.
Mavs took it. Yeah, Mavs took that. So we're all
Yeah,
ready and set for the second round, so,
yeah.
the
So
West,
it's been
the
a very
conference
interesting.
semifinals.
Yeah, yeah. It's been a very interesting first round for sure.
Yeah, you're saying that I'm looking good to be a champion, but after watching what the Timberwolves did, not only in the first round but what they did Saturday night, Anthony Edwards.
Yeah,
I mean, he's turning into the guy. I think he's
yeah.
turning into the person we're going to be looking to as the number one player in this league, and he's still so
Hmm.
young. And I think we're starting to see he had 43 last night in game one.
Yeah,
Uh, and I know I picked the Nuggets, but I'm scared. I'm very
yeah,
scared of
yeah,
the
yeah,
Timberwolves. They got a lot of big guys to deal with Jokic. He's going to get his. He almost had a triple double again. He had, I think, 28 points, 9 and 8, 28, 9 and 8, or
yeah,
somewhere around there at least. So he had a great game still, but it's going to be rough. I I see this series going 7 games. I think it's going to. I
yeah.
think the winner of this series will most likely win the West. Not even most likely. I think they will win the West, and then they'll be the favorite to win the title in general. I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Milwaukee had the injuries, and they just couldn't
Mhm.
handle the Pacers. It was Pacers pretty
Yeah.
much won that handily too. It wasn't a very competitive series at all.
No, not at all. And it's just shocking. And then of course, the Thunder beat the Pelicans, and there was a nice little jab from Charles Barkley said that they didn't
Yeah.
even play or anything, and he's
Uh-huh.
like they didn't even try, and they usually send them to Cancun to go fishing. And he said
Yeah.
no, sending them to Galveston Beach, dirty
Galveston.
water.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh man. Yeah, Milwaukee. I'm going back to Milwaukee though. They started 30-13,
yeah,
brought Doc Rivers in, fired their head coach. Doc Rivers ends the season under 500. I think 17-19 is the head coach.
yeah,
There's obviously has
yeah.
been injuries, but this is a couple stretches in a row for Doc Rivers where he has not
Hmm.
had success. And are we to the point now where like we have to? It's going to hurt his legacy long term. I mean, he's got the early titles early in his career with the Celtics, but at this point,
Hmm.
Clippers and now the Bucks. If the Bucks don't turn it around next season, he's had great players on both the Clippers
Yeah.
and the Bucks teams. Injuries, like again, once again, injuries this year, but I mean, still 17
Hmm.
and 19 down the stretch. That's bad. I don't know
Yeah.
if what are your thoughts on Doc. When I think of Doc Rivers, I think one of the greatest coaches of all time, but I think that's going to go away. I don't think you can talk about him that way anymore, right?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I mean, he had that stint with the Clippers, and the Clippers had a really good team, and they could never get over the hump. And
Mm-hmm.
then when he went to the 76ers, the 76ers, again, it was the same thing. They were making the playoffs every year, but they could not get over that hump and get to the Eastern Conference Championship, or even get out of that to get to the finals. And again, now, like, agree, they had a coach for the Bucks. Like you said, they had a they I think they might have even been first in the league with their record.
Definitely
and
up
then
there
yeah,
with the Celtics, I would say.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
for sure. And then the fact to end the season the way they did, and to just get knocked down in the first round by the Pacers like that, when of course the injuries, to Giannis and Dame, if they weren't injured, it could be a different series, but still, his legacy as one of the greatest coaches, is definitely, I think, in jeopardy now. If he cannot get over that hump to get to another championship and win one, I think we may be talking about a different conversation for Doc Rivers down the line.
Yeah, and then I didn't mention the Sixers on Doc, but yeah, the Sixers. It just sucks for Embiid the way his health just deteriorated down the stretch during
Yeah.
the season, and it's happened to him before with the injury issues. They just
hmm
without him 100%, there just was no shot for them to win that series either. I don't think.
No, not at all. And I gotta say, Jalen Brunson's looking like an elite player as well for the Knicks. Coming in and
Yeah,
putting the team on his back, and getting them to the next round. It's going to be an interesting matchup. I think in the past, I think the Knicks and Pacers had a rivalry in the playoffs in the past. So I think that
yeah.
this is going to be a nice little reunion for them in the playoffs, and to kind of see this rivalry get started back up. So I think it'll be interesting to see for this second round for sure.
Yeah, that goes back to like Reggie Miller's day, I would say, right?
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
series you were thinking of. Yeah,
yeah,
him
yep,
going to the
yep,
Garden and
yep,
embarrassing the Knicks.
yeah,
uh,
yeah,
Guess we a little bit of Miami. Anything on Miami? I mean, they fought a little hard there with the Celtics for a little bit, but I think they were outmatched again. I mean, you're looking at a one seed. It's playing great. What are you gonna ask?
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. Exactly. What can you ask for? I mean, the Celtics have they're the best team in the East. They may even be um, yeah, well, I'd say they're the best team in the East for sure right now. And of course, you're going up against Jalen Brown and uh, Jason Tatum, who are a great dynamic duo for a team right now. And they just look so great. The Celtics really have a squad going on. And I mean, yeah, the Miami Heat, the past couple years, they've been in the playoffs against each other, the Heat and the Celtics, and it seems like it's gone back and forth over the previous couple years. But the Celtics are just that great of a team right now, and I think the with some injuries a little bit to the Heat as well. I think they did try their best, but when you have a number one seed like that with the best record and playing the best ball right now, I mean it's just tough to compete with.
Yeah, and you talked about Tatum and Brown, but Devin White during that series was amazing too. He seems
Yeah,
to be coming on
yeah,
himself, and people
yeah,
were saying
yeah.
talking to he's like playing maybe as the second best player on that team, overpassing
Wow.
Jalen Brown. So they're
Yeah.
playing well. They got a nice little roster, obviously, and I think they're the
hmm
favorite in the
hmm
East at this point. Would you agree on that?
Yeah, I would definitely agree on that. If if the Knicks make it to the Eastern Conference Championship against the Celtics, I think that'll be a fun, interesting matchup. But I
Yeah.
I do agree. I think that the Celtics are the favorites right now in the East.
So Monday night you got Pacers Knicks starting. You got game two of Timberwolves Nuggets. So there's two good games there. What are your thoughts on those two series? You talked a little bit about Pacers Knicks already. What are your thoughts on Nuggets and Timberwolves? I went on my little rant, but how about you?
Yeah, no, it's definitely probably the series to watch right now. I mean, like you said, Anthony Edwards is turning out to be a monster of a player. I mean, he is just the way they came out, him and the Timberwolves came out against the Suns, and you have a big three like Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal, and for them to just get swept like that, it just it's gonna be the series to be watching. If the Timberwolves win, they may be the favorites for the West at that point, and it could be, this would be just a insane series to see the Nuggets lose like that. I mean, with Jokic and Murray like that, a great
Yeah.
a great duo, and MVP caliber players right there. I mean, this is the series to be watching. I agree with you. I think it's going to go 7. I just don't know. It's going to be a toss up who's going to win, but it's whoever wins game 7. I think they're the favorites to definitely maybe even win the championship this year.
Yeah, and then on Tuesday, Cavs Celtics open up, and then Mavs Thunder will be the second game that night. I guess we'll start with Cavs Celtics. What are your thoughts on that one? I think the Celtics are pretty much going to be a heavy favorite for this series. I would be very surprised if the Cavs found a way to win even a couple games there. Maybe they'll get one, but I think Celtics are going to win this in 5 or 6.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think I saw a stat that this was the first playoff series that the Cavs have won without LeBron. So
Yeah.
this is in a while. In a while, yeah. So
uh-huh.
it's gonna be a interesting series, but I agree with you. I think the Celtics are just too much to handle for the Cavaliers right now. And I think the Celtics will win in 5 or 6. Maybe the Cavs win a game or two, but I do agree. I think the Celtics win that one. Uh, as to the Mavs and Thunder, I think Luka and Kyrie are just too tough to guard and too great of players for Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma is still a little young, and I don't think that they played against the Pelicans who just again they didn't even seem to really play from what from what some of the sports analysts were saying.
Mhm.
But I think that the Thunder could win one or two the same, but I think that the Mavs will win that one in 5 or 6 as well, and go on to the Western Conference championship. But yeah, I don't see the Thunder moving on right now. I think they're just still too young of a team right now to move on to the next round in the playoffs.
Yeah, for me, I think that's going to go a little longer, but yeah, I do have the Mavs also. I think the Mavs will win that series, but I think the Thunder can win a couple, maybe more than I could see Game 7 here too. I think the Mavs still have enough holes in their roster that you can't guarantee many wins. I think they'll get the series, but at the end of the day, I don't trust them outside of Kyrie and Luka to score. And if you can't score, and they're not great defensively either, it does get to a point where you got to worry a little bit. And the Thunder still 57-25, number one seed in the West. So I am a little shaky going Mavs, but I think they'll win this series, maybe 6 games, maybe 7 games, somewhere around there. So that's all I'm
Yeah, I hear
thinking.
you on that.
Uh,
I hear you on
so
that.
we,
And
we
then the Pacers, and then we forgot the Pacers and Knicks.
yeah, we
I
went. Yeah,
think
I was
this
gonna
is
say yeah.
I think this is going to be a great series to watch as well. But I do think that the Knicks will move on to the next round. I think this one could go 7, and I think it's just going to be a back and forth. I think this one's going to be more about home field advantage, home team advantage, and or I'm sorry, home court advantage. I should say sorry. And I think it's
Mhm.
just going to go to 7, and the team that has home court at the last game is going to win that game.
Yeah, I'll go Knicks there too. I think you're right on that. Um, like you're saying, Jalen Brunson. I mean, how often do you see a guy who like he's a free agent? I don't even think there was that much talk about him being a free
Yeah.
agent. I think maybe part of that was because he was going to New York no matter what. That's where he wanted to be. But he went from a guy who was a good, solid player with Dallas to a guy who's now a star in the league. It's you don't see that too often with guys. I can you think of anyone like I can't think of anyone recently that went free
I can't
agency and
either.
then just blew up like he has.
Yeah, I can't think of a name right now like that. And he has really, like I said, put the Knicks on his back and been the player that they need to come out and and help them actually get to where they're at right now. I mean, the Knicks have been in a rebuild for a while, and now they have the players and the coaching
Yeah.
that they need right now to get themselves to where they're at in the Eastern Conference or in the Eastern Conference playoffs right now. And I again, yeah, Jalen Brunson has just been electrifying. It's been fun to watch him play. I'm excited to see him advancing on in his career, with the Knicks and in the NBA as well. So I think the Knicks will take this series. I think it'll go 7.
Yeah. It's not apples to apples. The one name I am thinking of is Harden, James Harden going to Houston. But
Okay.
even with
Yeah.
that, it's like we knew how good he was with Oklahoma City. It's just he didn't have the touches
Yeah.
there, right? I with
Yeah.
Brunson, it really was like I just never saw this in Brunson, and now here we are. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Not at all.
Nick, we're thinking Knicks and Celtics. We both got Knicks and Celtics, and then
Yeah. Knicks and
did you settle
Celtics.
on the Nuggets? You settle on the
No,
Nuggets?
this one, I'm not set on the Nuggets just
Uh
because
huh.
of that first game. But
Yeah.
I think the Nuggets, but I think the Nuggets could win this series and go on against the Mavs.
Uh huh.
I think it could happen. Yeah, but it's
Is
gonna be
that your
tough.
pick though?
It
I
is
need
gonna
your
be
pick.
very okay. My pick is gonna
I
be
need
the
your pick.
Nuggets. I'll go the Nuggets, but it's
Okay.
gonna be close. It's gonna be a
So
tough series. I'll go Nuggets.
so we both got the same. Then we got Celtics, Knicks, and then Nuggets and the Mavericks, which would be both
Yeah,
interesting series. And I think all four, maybe not Cavs, Celtics. These series are interesting at least. I think these will be fun games, and they all have their own little
yeah,
storylines to them. I think.
yeah, for sure, for
Um,
sure.
it'll be excited to see how the playoffs wrap up, or not wrap up, but as they move along. I guess we'll say.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
speaking of wrap up, I think we do need to wrap up a little bit more of our NFL draft coverage. We talked about the picks last week, but the grades are starting to come in, and I think you mentioned it. You're seeing A's like across the board, right?
yeah. That's what I've been seeing from a lot of the execs and sports uh, people that are out there that have talked about the draft. I've been seeing a lot of A's and a lot of A-pluses for the Steelers, and I've been seeing a lot of the sports execs talking about how, the past couple of years the Steelers have had about an A, with Omar Khan in there, and
Yep.
that they might have actually had some of the best picks in this draft with the players that they got throughout the this draft, throughout the rounds, and I think I have to agree with them. I mean, we talked about where they needed to um, pick the players and where they needed to, what positions they needed, and I think they hit everything on the head, and they got it all that they got everything and every player that they needed in this draft, and I think that they did get some of the best players for the rounds and where they were positioned, for this NFL draft. I mean, I really think the Steelers did great. Like I said, we talked about in the past, and yeah, I mean, what I'm seeing is the Steelers have gotten an A, all over the board.
Yeah, I got a couple quotes. The Athletic pulled some NFL executives, real NFL executives playing for on teams and stuff like that. And there's one of the execs comments. It was Fatanu was one of my favorite players in the entire draft. Personality, work ethic, skill set, versatility. He has it all. The second round pick, Zach Frazier, fits their brand of toughness. 4-time state wrestling champ, and then they got the best off-ball coverage linebacker in the draft with Peyton Wilson. If Peyton Wilson can stay healthy, so that's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
good praise, I would say, there from that guy, from that
yeah, for
report
sure.
there. It does seem that people are worried a little bit about injuries, definitely for Peyton Wilson, and then there's also a little bit about injury concerns springing up for Fatano. I didn't know about that. That was the first I heard about anyone complaining. Maybe that's something that the teams knew about that didn't really get out with anyone else, and maybe that's why he dropped to the Steelers because people were talking about how there was no reason for him to be there for us, and maybe that's why.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I didn't know anything about that either. But if those two players can stay healthy, I mean, I think we're gonna definitely have an elite squad this year, and it's gonna be great to see what the Steelers can do come preseason and regular season in the fall.
The only other thing they really mentioned was the concern that maybe Fatano's more of a guard than a tackle. Um, if that happens and he can be an all pro guard instead of an all pro tackle, I mean, you'll still take that. I don't think
Yeah,
that the Steelers are in a place that they can be too much of choosers rather than beggars at this point with the offensive line the way they played last year. And I'll be cool with that. Peyton Wilson,
yeah,
more talk about he's an awesome player and a great pick at 98. But just the injuries again, he's just had injuries. And the question is, do you pass on him or not? The Steelers decided at 98 that was a long enough time, and can't pass on that guy anymore.
Yeah, and if he could stay healthy, I think we've talked about the Steelers draft great linebackers. I think that it'll be a nice core group of linebackers if he can stay healthy, and help contribute to that defense with T.J. Watt, Alex Highsmith, and Patrick Queen. So be interesting to see. Hopefully, he can get into a good regiment where he'll stay healthy, and the training staff will help with that, and it should be a fun, interesting preseason in the fall. I mean, I know we still got a few months, but I mean, it's just been a crazy offseason for the Steelers, and I'm just excited to see if they have any if they have any other moves or anything up their sleeve, for the rest of the offseason.
Yeah, that was the big rumor at the beginning of the week was traded. There was a trade for a big time receiver was imminent for the Steelers. 6 days have passed and that imminence has gone away, I guess, because nothing happened all week. But there's a lot of different rumors, a lot of people throwing around names. There was comments that the Steelers contacted the Seahawks about a DK Metcalf trade. That fell through. That I the way I'm reading it, I don't even know how far that rumor went, but obviously DK Metcalf would have been an amazing pickup. That's gonna take that's gonna take that's gonna take you at least 2 first-round picks though. The names that people were throwing around, it got a little crazy. ESPN got involved. I don't know if you saw that they were involved. They're throwing at numbers. I don't even know if it was Antonio Brown, or it was his network. Whoever's running the network of ESPN starts saying, "Oh yeah, they're gonna get blah 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 blah." They put a number 17 out there, so then people start throwing out other names and other names. Devontae Adams wears 17, so he was a guy people were saying. Washington's receiver. I can't think of I'm off the top of my head. Their number one. He was being thrown out there. I feel like an astronaut remembering his name off the top. Then people start going Debo Samuel. It just the names that people are throwing off. Cortland Sutton out of Denver's named. His report is saying he's not the guy that the Steelers are trading for. So the way it was like worded from there, you're thinking, oh, so maybe there is a trade in the place, but it's just not Cortland Sutton. It was a whole thing this whole week. I don't know if you noticed at all, or you got to follow any of that stuff.
Yeah, no, I've seen a little bit of it, and it's fun to see. You would like to see if the Steelers can get somebody great like that, but like you said, it's going to cost them a lot to get a All-Pro wide receiver or just player like that from any team right now, and maybe Omar Khan can do it. They've been calling him the Khan.
Yeah, Khan the Don, right?
Maybe Khan the Don. Maybe he can do it. Who knows? I mean, he's been making moves and this offseason. I mean, maybe he can get it done. We'll see what happens. I mean, some of the picks we got for some of the late round draft picks and cash that we've been able to just get for these players has been amazing. I mean, so maybe he can do it. We'll see what happens.
The name for Washington was Terry McLaurin, just to clear that up. He's a great receiver too. So any of those names I'm open for. The price tag though, both on salary and on draft picks, draft equity, or whatever you want to go with, is gonna be it's gonna be a lot. So you got to wonder if it's worth it to get a receiver coming in here, and if you're bringing in like a DK Metcalf level, it's not going to be him. From all reports, it's not going to be him. But that caliber of guy, you're looking at least a first and a second round pick, I think, unless they're disgruntled and you get lucky. These names that people are throwing out are guys you're going to have to give up some draft equity. Are you willing to do that for a receiver? You are.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think we have. I mean, it would be nice to bring in a great wide receiver like that, but I don't know if I'm willing to give up all that equity and draft picks and money. I mean, I think I don't even know if we have enough right now in our cap to even pay somebody. So with what we've just been spending to get for free agents and things like that. So I don't know. I don't think I'm willing to do it. I don't think so. What about you?
That's actually just before I get in my opinion, back to your mentioning of cap. That was added to the speculation. They reworked some deals to gain like 9 million in cap space recently. So
Oh
everyone's like,
wow.
"Oh, that has to be to go and get a receiver." But I I obviously, if you get a guy who's established, you can say it's worth the draft pick because
Yeah.
best case scenario, you're going to get that guy in the draft. Like that's what the guy's going to be in the draft. The problem
Yeah.
is you're also taking on that money. Some people are of the opinion they might just be right. Is like the cap will figure itself out. It always figures itself
Yeah.
out. Don't worry about the
Hmm.
cap. Just go and do that. But then you go and look at the Rams and how they went from being a Super Bowl winner to like falling apart. And part of that was
Yeah.
cap. Part of that was they traded all of their draft picks. They traded first round
Yeah.
picks forever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, it's an interesting concept. With the right name, I think it's worth it. But like Devontae Adams, he's getting up there in age. Is he worth it? I don't know if it's going to cost you
Yeah.
a first and a second, or even at a first round. I think you got to do it at first round pick. But
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see if anything happens in
Yeah.
the
For sure.
coming weeks. Um,
We'll
calling it
be on
done,
it.
right? That's your guy.
Yeah. Con the Don. He'll be on it. He'll be on
uh-huh.
it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. I don't got too much more for you this week. Lee, what you been up to? You want to talk about anything else?
No, I think that's good. I think we hit everything that's really much been going on right now. So, like you said, it's been a slow week, but I think we hit the topics that's been going on right now.
Yeah, I might put some pirate coverage up there, but I'm not gonna make you suffer through it if I do
Yeah. Oh, well, there is
So
one thing going on.
oh, you
There's, I
got
think
something.
tonight, one thing tonight on
The
on
roast.
Netflix is the roast of Tom Brady. For any of those sports fans out
Yeah.
there on Netflix, the roast of Tom Brady
We're
tonight.
we're yeah, this will be up Monday morning, so it'll be the yesterday. You'll get whoever's watching this at this point still, you'll get to go back to
Yeah,
Netflix and watch the Tom Brady roast.
exactly.
It's May 5th at 8 o'clock. But
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, I can't wait to see that too. I don't know
yeah,
if I'll watch it live, but I'm sure I'll catch the clips if there's anything good.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
But other than that, Lee, I'm good to go. I'll see you next
Yeah,
week.
same here. Sounds good. I'll see you next week. Have a good one, bud.